All right, how's everyone going? My name's Tyler Austin. I am the obviously founder of REISIF. Most people know me for that. Other people know me for my real estate investment company here in Northwest Florida, Florida Cash Real Estate. If you're on YouTube, you just know me because I post YouTube content that is super, underneath the cloak. What most people don't talk about, I talk about. I always have because I really don't care. So today we're going to be covering how to do driving for dollars like a ninja, right? We're going to show you what I call the 5x5 method. So we're going to start off on my iPad. So let me switch over to that real quick. And I'm going to explain to you guys a few different things that are core concepts that you need to understand to be super successful in this. So we're going to start this out right now. So we call it the 5x5 method. And we're going to do it for driving for dollars. Right now, we're going to do it virtually. However, you can do this same exact method not virtually, okay? So it doesn't really matter if you're doing it virtual or not. You can do this in any case. So I will say for anybody who's going to be watching this on YouTube, I am actually live on Facebook at the same time right now. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Hopefully everything ends up being okay, and we can continue recording and streaming at the same time. But yeah, we'll keep rocking on like that. We'll see. It looks like it might be frozen, but that's okay. So 5x5 D for D method. We're going to do it virtually. But I want to cover a few really core concepts here in the meantime. What's up, Joel? And the very first one is to understand a topic that I teach called data buckets. I'm not going to go super deep into this, but I want to make sure we cover this so you understand where D for D fits inside of my data buckets. So your data always falls into 4 primary buckets, and I'll just kind of draw them out here. And it goes a lot deeper than this. One bucket is high equity. One bucket is vacant. I'm going to spell it out, but the actual bucket only has a V. The next bucket is stack data, and the next bucket after that is going to be what I call ouchies. All right. High equity data is only on the high equity list. Vacant is only on vacant or more lists. Stack data is only on 2 or more lists, and then ouchies are only on 1 list, and they are some sort of vexation, such as probate and so on. Probate, maybe tax delinquent, and D for D fits inside of that bucket. Okay, so D for D to me is an ouchie campaign. Not going to make a whole bunch of sense to everybody, but we're going to cover it. I wanted to cover it briefly so you guys understood where, as far as your data is concerned, where D for D fits, especially because a lot of people that are going to be watching this are REISIF users, and I want to make sure that they understood that. So definitely understand that's where it falls. However, D for D would also be falling inside of here. Inside of here, it's just the main, when you're building out the data, it starts here. And then when you upload it to your REISIF account, it could become one of those other two if you are an REISIF user. But just understand that that's what I look at. It's an ouchie to me. It's a visual identifier list that is a vexation showing, maybe a potential distress. Just because they're on the D for D list does not mean somebody wants to sell their property, because some people just are slobs, right? And we just got to accept that. So that's that. It also does not mean that they're vacant. It also does not mean that they have equity. So you got to take that for what it is. So that's that method. Now let's explain what the 5x5 is. And then I'm going to show you guys on my computer how we go about the process. So the 5x5 all starts with one record, okay? So the 5x5 starts with a record. And this record is, we're going to try to draw like a little flame here, like a flame. Oh, that's terrible. Just try and redo that. Maybe that's a flame. I don't know, a little flame guy from Mario. I don't know, or Mario. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a little flame dude. It's a hot prospect, right? So maybe we put that under here. Maybe hot prospect. Okay. So we start with a hot prospect. And what happens is we get that address, and we then go to that address. And we're going to put that as the little house, okay, with a really awkward roof. And we add 5 properties around this address. So house 1, house 2, and we're going to try to space out 3, 4, 5, okay? So we add 5 houses around each of those. All right, and then what we do is we go out to each of those, and each of those get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses, across each of those. Okay, So it's the 5 by 5 because we have 5 initial houses that we add around our primary house, and then we add 5 houses around each of those houses. That's the 5 by 5 method, 5 by 5. The reason why I decided to start doing these, and by the way, the term for this one that you'll hear me use is called hotspot. Just a dorky reference because it's a fire record and I'm a nerd when it comes to tech. So hotspot, right? So we're doing a 5 by 5. It's also funny because you're usually on your phone, you know, adding properties. So that's another reference because your phone is anyway, I think that's self-explanatory. What's up, Justin, man? How you doing, brother? So that's the 5 by 5 method, okay? And it's really, really beneficial to start really building a really niche driving for dollars campaign. And what's awesome about it is because you already have data, it's just leveraging that data. So there's a couple things I want you to think about. Let me go ahead and duplicate this list right here, or this, let me copy and paste this list and then clear it out here. There's a couple things I want you to think about when you're buying data and the data that you might already have and why it's important to leverage it when you're driving for dollars. So the number one reason is if you own data, the reason you have it is because it's good data, right? It's data around what? Generally, the zip codes you care about. It's in the neighborhoods. I don't know how to spell neighborhoods. I think it's like maybe something like that. Don't claim to be the smart person when it comes to spelling. And it's also in the age of the homes generally that you want. But it all boils down to your data is generally going to be in these two things. And because of that, it's also going to mean that naturally any of the other properties around those properties are in that community, which would have properties that are paid down enough. And what I always say is that a sour apple, we're going to try and draw maybe an apple. I don't know why I went with green, but again, apparently it's a green apple. That's a terrible stem and leaf. But a sour apple always comes with what? More sour apples, okay? So we want to leverage the fact that we have some sour apples and we want to go verify they're sour and then go, pluck the worms out the rest, if you will. I don't know where I came with that analogy, but that's the analogy I went with, so deal with it. So that's number one. So that's one big reason. And I kind of broke them all down at the same exact time, but put them all under one. But another big thing is because you already have that data and because that data exists in an easy way, generally, when I talk about sour apples, some of those other sour apples could be that community in itself is vacant. Now, what you got to think about while you're doing this is you got to understand that if you're doing this in an area that is, not a good area, and like every single house around it is a vacant house, then that obviously is not very beneficial to you because every single house is vacant. And if every single house is vacant, then how is that going to benefit you long term? Or if every single house is super distressed, like you'd have to buy the whole community, which is okay if you have buyers that are around us. So just be vigilant on, not just aimlessly adding everything. However, what's beautiful is if we're not going to be adding everything and then marketing to everything right away because of the other systems we use and data buckets and everything else, you could literally pretty much add everything and it's not going to affect you because you're not going to just be blowing money aimlessly. What you're doing is you're building up a massive, massive list around the right areas, the right neighborhoods, in order to essentially have that visual identifier list. Really, that's what I want you guys to focus on, that have visual identifier list to visually say, oh, that property, we seen it, it was ugly, great, now it's on our tax delinquent list, or at the same time, maybe it's not, and we cold call them, and at least we know that, it was ugly. That's the big thing. The fact that it's ugly is what you care about. There's no guarantees it's vacant. So there's no guarantee on any of that unless, of course, you're an REI SIF user and you upload that list, then you check for vacancy. But we're going to show that in a minute. But that's what I want to think about, right? Just remember that. So let's go ahead and as I'm going through this, I challenge y'all to have a piece of paper and write down your biggest insights that you get from this video, and then write down 3 action items that you're going to do after this video in order for you to implement this process and be successful in it. Don't just aimlessly implement process in your business just for the willy-nilly of it, but this is a pretty cool process. So let me go ahead and stop sharing that and switch over to this. And let me show you guys a few things you're going to need for the sake of this. You don't need to have an REISIF account, but we're going to use my account because that's where I'm going to get my hotspot from. I think it's smart. If you don't have REISIF, that you should have it, but hey, I might be biased because I'm the owner of the company. The other thing you're going to need is Deal Machine, and for the sake of this, you're also going to need the Deal Machine virtual for driving for dollars extension. So you can click on the top right corner in your Google Chrome browser, go to More Tools, then go to Extensions, and then search for virtual driving for dollars. I already have it installed, but we can just do this here, paste it in there, and that did not work at all. Let's recopy that, copy, and let's try and repaste it, and then search it, and it's going to pop up. You're going to be able to click on it and then click add or whatever else it wants you to do. So just go ahead and do that. You can also just search it right here inside of Google and then say Chrome extension, and you're going to see the same exact chrome.google.com, and you'll be able to add it that way. That's probably the way you be the easiest way for you guys to get to it. So go ahead and do that. After you do that, you're going to have to sign into it. It'll show up in this top right corner. If it's not in this top right corner, it means you have too many icons. So you're going to want to go to the drop down arrow and I believe into your settings. And you're just going to want to edit your browser. I don't remember off the top of my head how to do that. I'm not going to waste time in the video. But you can totally like edit your whole Chrome and even have different backgrounds, a bunch of other stuff. So figure that out, Google it, or message me directly and I'll get it figured out with you. So let me go ahead now and show you guys what to do next. So in Google, in the top left corner, you're always going to have this apps thing. So you can click on that and you could add the maps right here if you really wanted to, or you can just literally go to maps.google.com, maps.google.com. And open up your map, okay? So we're going to need that for later, but we're going to just put that on pause right now. Let me go ahead and remove my iPad from right in front of me so it's easier for me to navigate here. All right, so we got that. Now, all we have to do is we have to decide where we want to start. So if I go to my account and I search for my Deal Machine records here, you can see that I have quite a bit of Deal Machine in here. It's not a ton. I got about 2,000 records or so. But you can see quite a few of them line up with other lists here. Some of them are probate, tax lien with Deal Machine, high equity. That's pretty ballin'. If you guys want to call on that record, by all means. I'm trying to buy that property, so if you get it, let me know. Because I have a rental like right down the street from it, or two actually. So check that out. But what I want to focus on is I'm going to focus on the properties that are already vacant. So what we're going to do is we're going to do vacant property, yes. And then I'm actually just going to filter, and you can choose whatever you want, whatever type of vexation is common in your business, whatever you kind of target normally. I'm going to go ahead and focus free and clear in vacant properties. You can see I have 20 of them here. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and for the willy-nilly, I'm going to say no phone numbers. Actually, I have numbers for all of those apparently, so we're not going to worry about that. So let's go ahead and just choose one randomly. And notice I'm putting myself next to already vacant properties. And if I wanted to, I could also say, oh, okay, they're also on multiple lists. So let's just take this one. So this one is on, actually it's on Deal Machine already and free and clear. So let's just go ahead and start with this one and go ahead and go around this one. So we're going to copy this address, and we're going to start off by just searching this address in Pensacola, and we're going to take a peek at it, and we're going to look at this property. So we take a peek at it, and it actually doesn't look too bad. It probably looks different in person if it's on my Deal Machine list already. Or maybe it's one of these other ones. Who really knows? Maybe it's this one. Maybe this is the one we're supposed to be at. But what we're going to do is we're going to start on this one. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, that's kind of, unless there's a house right here, it's kind of doesn't look like a super bad area. Let me look at my map here. Let's go back. And let's look here. Is there enough of an area to D for D? Yeah. I mean, it's a whole little community here. So let's just do it. Let's start here. At least we'll get the principles down. And it's free and clear because, so that's good. So let's go ahead and start there. So we're going to search in Google Map. We're going to search that address. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and drop our little guy, this guy down here. And we're going to drop him right inside this community. We're going to drop it right inside that little leg there. But actually, before we do that, you want to make sure you scout out and decide kind of your path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the leg off of Shadow Creek Drive. And if you're doing this for a virtual assistant, you can also say the same thing. All right, so you're going to do that. You're going to add all these. Now, another thing that I'll mention that I've already done is I've already uploaded, and all my current Deal Machine records are inside of REI Sift. So anything that I add today, when I re-upload it back in there, it's going to go ahead and it's going to re-add those in there, but they're going to be tagged with just these. I'll tag them with this today's date, which will then be able to filter by them and then see just those records. Okay. So what we're going to do now is, I lost my mouse. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and drop our guy right there. And I'm actually going to drop him at the very start of this street right here. All right. And I'm going to just start going down. And remember, it's a 5x5 method. So I already know where that property is at, and I dropped it pretty close to that property. So remember, the 5x5 method is to find a property, and that's a hot spot. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add 5 properties around that property. Okay. And you're going to try and find 5 properties. So this is the one that was added, by the way. So it must look different. This photos are from 2013. So that's another thing you got to watch for. So image captured in 2013. So that's a bit dated, right? So who really knows how accurate this is? So I'm actually going to go ahead and pause this one. I would actually put a physical person here. I wouldn't virtual drive for dollars this area. That's too old, right? This is going to look a lot different now. So we're not going to use that. We're going to go back. We're going to find a different one real quick, and we're going to start somewhere else because that's not one we want to virtual drive for dollars. You could totally do this method in person, tag that record for your driver, and then have them go out and look in person. But for virtual, I don't want to add properties in here that I don't know for sure are visual vexations because those images are too out of date. So let's go ahead and just choose another one. We're going to use free and clear, and we're going to go just down to 1, and let's just say let's do owner occupied. So we'll do absentee no free and clear. So we got a few here, and let's choose in. Do we have any in Fort Walton? We got Destin. Screw it. Let's do this one here. Free and clear, vacant. Actually, it's on my direct mail campaign or cold call campaign for May, and I can see that because it's tagged with vacant May 2020 CC there. So I'm gonna go ahead and come in here, and I'm gonna search that address real quick. Let's take a peek at it and see what's up, what kind of neighborhood it's in. Okay, yeah. So I like this area. That definitely is one that I would add to virtual driving for dollars too. So this works out nicely. So let's go ahead and do this one. So same exact thing. I'm just going to, look at the overall map real quick and get an idea of where I want to go at. We can see this is at a dead-end street, so maybe we start wherever we enter in over here. We're going to start at the property and work our way. Okay, it's right here, so we're going to work our way out. Yeah, so we're going to work our way from here out. So let's go ahead and refresh this. We're going to go back, and we are going to, I'm just going to repaste it back in here. And I'm going to start right here from this screen, and I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to go ahead and drop my guy right here. So we're going to do a 5x5. So remember, we're going to add 5 properties next to this property and then 5 properties next to those properties. So we're going to take a peek here. Automatically, this one's being added. Some identifiers that are obviously I'm seeing is the garage doors messed up. We got an old car. We got old, stale pots in the front here. The roof, I can't get a clear beat on. Something that we're going to do when we're D for D. And also, this is from 2013 too, but I'm going to say F it because I don't feel like making this video longer than it needs to be because this is still a decent area, so whatever. We're going to go back, and I'm going to switch it to aerial view. And if I switch it to aerial view, I can zoom in, and I'm just looking for any water runs on the roofs, any pools that might not be clean. Again, these are dated, 2013 photos, but the nice thing about map view from satellite is satellite's updated all the time. So because satellite's uploaded all the time and updated all the time rather, we're going to have a lot more accurate photos. So if we see a stale pool, we see, messed up roof, it's probably still the same. So we're still kind of helping out there. So looks like I can't really get a good view on the driveway, but we do see there's a lot of trees in the back. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add this one. So what you want to do is you want to line up. Look for the number on the house. This is 7686. I can see it's 7686 up here. I'm going to click on the dot to the right of it, and I'm going to verify, make sure that's the house. Look on the image to the left, it is. Click on your virtual driving for dollars up in the top right corner, and I'm going to click add, and that's it. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to add a ton of them in there just like that. We can see the sales price was $79,000, and they bought it back in 1987, so it's probably still the same condition, to be honest with you. It hasn't sold, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm making sure that it hasn't sold. So we're going to continue doing the same exact thing. So we're going to move from one to the other just like that. And I'm looking at these other ones. I see the roof is out of date on this one. The driveway looks up to date. Doesn't look near as bad as this one. Like, this one hasn't been painted forever. This one's definitely a lot more updated, but the shutters has got original windows. But this isn't necessarily one that I would add to Deal Machine, me personally. I'm looking to really kind of add those ones that look pretty distressed. So this one across the street doesn't look too bad. This one doesn't look too bad to me. It does have older windows. Maybe if it was driving, I might do it, but it depends. These are out of date, so I don't want to add too many. I'd rather my drivers take care of all that. Again, this one we're going to go ahead and add because this one's actually the one that is free and clear and vacant on cold calling. It actually doesn't look super upkept here. Again, these are from 2013, so who knows? But again, we're going to look 7624. We can see 7675. So we're not quite lined up there, but I'm going to show you how we can do it either way. We're going to click on it, and then what we're going to do is we know this is the house right here, so we can click and click on the house there, and then you're going to see that it pops up right here, and that's the address. So then we can click here, and it's going to show here instead. Okay? So now we can click add. All right, and there it is. We can see the sales price. We can see it hasn't been purchased. It's from 1993. So after we do that, we're going to go ahead and rock on. Just click back on our image down there, and now we can keep driving. So we have 2 properties so far. And because this is a single lane street, it's really hard to kind of do the 5x5 sometimes because of the type of street this is. It's like, okay, technically if I add 5 houses on this street, I'm like already adding all 5 next to all 5. But you just want to kind of keep going out from there. So we're just looking here. We're looking for identifiers that, prove to be, lists that or houses that look distressed, messed up roofs, pools. We're going to make sure we go in this neighborhood here, this little roundabout. It's always where, like, drivers that are actually physically driving might not go down here. This one looks interesting to me. It's got a lot of leaf buildup here. It's got older windows. Got a car that's probably been sitting for a minute, or maybe a muscle car. Who knows? This car is turned sideways. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and add this one. This one looks interesting to me. So looks like 7641. I'm at 7651, but I'm going to go ahead and click it anyway, and then I'm going to try and click on it here. 7641, there it is. Click here, click add, and then we'll click back on our image here and rock on. This one doesn't look bad. It looks pretty nice. This one looks okay, and these are still from 2013, so we got to keep that in mind. But this is the 5x5 method. Literally, we're just taking a hotspot address, and we are adding it into virtual driving for dollars. Some other things you can watch for if you're in a state that is, got a lot of sun and stuff like that. You'll see this driveway has not been pressure washed in a minute. So you can look for things like that. We're looking, for overgrown trees. Looking for a lot of different things here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but all these trees are like purple on my screen. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep going around that. We're going to add 5 properties next to 5 properties. And if you do it right, what you're doing is you're going to continually add properties that are around vexations, and it's going to end up ultimately, he's trying to take care of it, and he needs to take care of his siding. But that's it there. It's pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and choose one more address, maybe in a different area. Let's choose let's choose a different type of vexation here. How about, let's do tax delinquent. And let's do on multiple lists and vacant. We'll focus on some clean data here. And let's try and do numbers no. Okay, cool. Perfect. Panama City. Oh, well, that's not a really good example right now. I don't really like D for D'ing on Panama City because of the fact that everything there is destroyed right now. It's not the best one, so let's go ahead and not do that. So let's just choose with phone numbers. Or let's choose Let's choose this one. What's on this one? This is tax lien with high equity. Oh, and deal machine. So let's start there. It's already an area that we probably D for deed, but maybe we can capitalize on some we've never done before. Head over here. This is a pretty good area, D for D. All right. So same exact thing. Remember, we're going to add 5 properties next to the 5 properties. And if we look at our map, you can decide on how you're going to do that, what type of roads. You can go up and down. You can map it out. However you plan on doing that, with your VA is really up to you. But the 5x5 is a really easy way to still try and map it out. We'll just go going around the block, for example, because if you add 5 here, 5 on this side might be 5 down this street and 5 down this street, and it kind of makes you spread out quite a bit. And honestly, it's actually more difficult doing it like this than if you were driving, because you get to see where you've been. But whatever. So let's go ahead and do this one. We've already added that one. It's already in driving for dollars. The neighbor's one that we would add. So let's go ahead and take a peek at that one, see if it's already added or not. Oh, that's a cool little feature. I didn't even realize they added that. So you can actually see the ones next to it. So let's go ahead and click on here. It's the neighbor. Click here. Add it. Boom. Click back on our image. All right, we press on. 5x5. This one doesn't look too bad. Actually, looks like it was recently painted. We got new windows. We're just gonna go down this street. Keep going. That one doesn't look too bad. This one looks fine. That's a newer home. Definitely add this one. What's the address? All right, we'll just do it like this. This is a corner street, so we'll click here, and then we'll try and add the corner street. So it's this one. It's not the house. Yeah, we'll add that one either way. That's not the one I'm trying to add, but we'll add it. I want this one right here. That's the one I want. Yep, that's it. 205. Okay, so far we've added 4 around that one. And then we didn't go the other direction. But you guys get the point. You guys see what I'm basically doing here is all I'm doing is I'm saying, cool, here is, here's a hotspot. The address that we originally got that was vacant, and we're just putting ourselves and inserting ourselves in an area that fits those properties that we already are probably doing deals in. If you're not, you could already technically use, like if you close on a deal, when you close on a deal, you wholesale a deal, that becomes a hotspot. You can just go like, oh crap, we closed on a deal, we haven't drove for dollars in that area yet. Let's make sure that we go, use that as a hotspot. And then you do it. You just move on. So we're going to continue down this street real quick. This one for sure, some things I'm seeing is, it's not painted. We got old windows. We don't have a new car. Nice corner lot. We see new construction up the street, so we know this area can be built on if this ends up being, too bad inside. 201. This is 267, it looks like. Let's go ahead and click on here and see what pops up. So it's actually the one right across the street. Verify. Yep, we're good. Click back on it, and then click over here, and then add that one. Oops, didn't want to do that. That's okay. It's an absentee owner anyway, so it's not going to hurt me at all. So now that's been added. So notice what we're doing is we said, cool. So we had 1 here. We added 4 or 5 around that one, and then we hopped over into a new area. So now I'd want to add, around each of these ones, 5 properties. So this one already had 1. The ones that were in the middle technically already had a few, but we want to start going down like London Avenue and each of these and doing the same thing. So it's the 5x5 method. Really straightforward, really simple, and it kind of just also creates it to where your drivers aren't just thinking about like, oh, cool, I want to add. I'm just driving through and I'm just adding properties. What I'm doing is there's something methodical around it. I'm adding 5 properties around each property that I add, and for whatever reason, psychologically, it actually does something really powerful. So That is the 5x5 method. That's how we do it. So let's go ahead and go into Deal Machine now, and let me show you how to actually export these from Deal Machine and get them into REI Sift. If you're a user, and if you're not, you can obviously do that as well. So let me click on my dashboard, and I'm going to go down to here, and I'm going to go down to settings, and I'm going to go to, where's the export? Export all deals. And then all I'm going to do is that's going to pop down here. And then I'm going to go to REI Sift upload. I'm going to drag and drop that in. And then I'm going to right away just kind of unmap some of these things that are here. Property address always maps. You can see in the example data here, it's like a full address. I want property address 1. And then I'm going to find my mailing address here. Owner name, we're going to put here. Owner first name, owner last name. And then we're going to find the owner address. Owner address, address city, address state, address zip. And then any phone numbers that are associated, we'll auto map here. And then we're just going to click continue. I'm going to add these to my Deal Machine list that I have in here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a tag to these and say, I say LP for pretty much everything. List purchased. I know we didn't purchase this list, but you get the point. And then I'm going to say May 2020. Click create. And I'm not going to add a tag Deal Machine. Usually I go by the 4 W's. Where did it come from? Where has it been? Where is it going? And then when did it happen? But I'm not going to tag all those in this situation. It's going to be list purchased. And then I'm also going to do, just going to add a tag, say tutorial, so we can filter by these. And then I'm just going to do only import new addresses. And then I'm going to click save. And this, even though there was phone numbers, all these haven't been skip traced. So I'm just going to click save. And it's going to go ahead and it's going to upload those. And it's only going to upload the new addresses that I've recently had with those tags on there. So now what I can do is then filter by that tag once it finishes, which was, what was it? Like tutorial. And, there's going to be only the new addresses, which I actually did some uploading before this, just to show as an example. But here's all the new records. We got about 100 that I added previously, or my team's added since I did this video, plus the ones we just did. And you can see some of those are incomplete, like they don't have all their data, about 40 of them. Some of them were even trusts, and quite a few of them were companies. And then we have a handful here, about 540 of them that were clean, or 54, 540. I guess I'm filtered by the whole. I must have already had a tutorial tag. But anyway, that is how you would do that, and then you just mark it straight to those, and then you can obviously filter by, the Deal Machine list in itself, and then filter by, I don't know, let's say only the vacant properties in the Deal Machine list, and then absentee, maybe absentee out of state if you wanted to. So Deal Machine vacant out of state, and maybe no phone numbers yet. And if it's yellow, that means you've already tried to skip trace them. And then you could also say numbers yes, and then you could send these straight to call tools from here, and not even skip a beat. And they're on multiple lists. Or you could say, well, what about the ones that I have that are only on the Deal Machine list that are vacant? This would be that Ouchie campaign I was talking about earlier in the very beginning. And all of these people are out of state, and the property addresses are vacant. So you're putting yourself in a really good position. Instead of just kind of aimlessly hitting them, now you have some direction, like those are the ones. Well, what about the ones that aren't vacant? So vacant, no. And, so all of these 60 properties here, we wouldn't really want to hit, as aggressively. But we would want to cold call them for sure, because we have the phone numbers. But, they might not be near as motivated as the ones that are actually vacant. So that is how I do driving for dollars virtually. That's how my team does it. We focus on that hot point. We do 5x5. That happens from both driving perspective and, virtually with their new add-on. And, that's pretty much it. And then we SMS those, and we do the whole cycle campaign that we teach here at REI Sift. But hopefully that was helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. Be sure to hit me up on Instagram. For those that don't have me on Instagram, Tyler Austin Original. And, if you're not an REI Sift user, obviously check that out too. But that's it.